All right, welcome. So, as we talked about last week, just as a reminder, we're going to have our Slay Squad call this week. And then, I'm sorry, we're going to have our Team Phoenix call this week. And then next week, Slay Squad is going to have a speaker real time. So that means we can jump on that call. It has a Zoom. They're probably going to share some really amazing information for us to do hands-on real time. And then we can discuss it as a group if needed or if you have any questions. But going forward from here, these team calls will be every other week, same time, same place. The opposite weeks will be the Slay Squad call. So if you are not in that group on Facebook, to get the links, just ask and we'll get you in there. It's super easy. You just have to put Christine Dwyer as your coach. So, hey, bud. With that, we're going to dive right in. And then if we have any housekeeping, we'll do it at the end. I'm going to pass it over to Corinne.
All right, guys. So hopefully I don't have any toddler interruptions tonight. Can't promise. But I picked a topic about Instagram and algorithms because I am not good with this stuff. So I learned a lot through Holly Hillier's Seven Strong. I think that's what her podcast is called. If you guys don't listen to podcasts, this is a good one to listen to for your business. She is very insightful. She is very high up in the company, and she has made a huge shift with what I'm going to talk about today, which actually brought to light a lot of things for me with how we're posting on Instagram. And I felt like after I listened to this, I saw Abby's and I was like, man, she must have listened to this because I feel like the way she was posting was different. So, okay. So I just wrote down, like, I pretty much mind dumped the entire thing. So if anyone else listened to this, Becky and Abby, make sure you just chime in where you want. So she started by saying, like, we're diminishing Instagram. The algorithms are always changing, and the algorithm that is a hard word for me, isn't showing the value that we're always producing, right? So say you're showing a sweaty selfie. Maybe that's not what, you know, Jane over here is looking for on Instagram when she's scrolling, right? So what you're posting is content that maybe is not valuable for her, which a lot of this is kind of a gut check too to yourself. So just be open-minded to it. The algorithm is nothing more than a collective at large. We're looking at the ideal client out there in the world, and they're telling Instagram what they want to see, right? So, you always hear the weird things like you're talking about something at work or at home, and like all of a sudden you're getting all of these ads or posts that are about that sweater from Target or like hair products or body. Like that happens a lot. Which it's weird because your phone is listening to, but it's the same thing when you're posting, right? And people are going to be, and that's something I didn't understand about algorithms. I was like, okay, whatever. Like people aren't seeing my stuff. I must not be doing anything right. And I was blaming Instagram, right? I'll get to that a little bit later. So we think we know what our ideal client wants, right? We think it's like weight loss, or we think it's mindset. But the question is what we're providing for our ideal client part of the solution? Or is it that they, like with our content or what we're providing them in a way, is what they want to consume, right? So you want to break it down. Let's start with, what does my ideal client want? Is it what they need? Is it a need or is it a want, right? Like, yes, I want to lose weight, but maybe that's not what they need to start with. Maybe it's like them just starting very small and getting up earlier or drinking more water. We are trying to sell this total solution, right? But not everybody wants that total solution, and it might be at large too much, right? So we have to break it down into simpler things. And maybe it's just one thing, and then eventually they'll want the whole thing that we're providing. So we need to serve our ideal client with what they want and not what they need. The algorithm is there to keep people on the platform longer. This gives them content that they want to see, so they're going to continue to consume more of the same content, right? So say I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, man, I really want to lose this extra 10 pounds that I have postpartum, right? And I'm scrolling social media looking for like another mom that might be doing the same thing. And like, so Abby's posts probably would be coming through my feed because she talks about, not currently because you're pregnant, you're not postpartum yet, but like her older posts about, not getting back into, an ideal weight, but like just postpartum stuff, right? So her stuff would probably be coming through my social media. If the algorithm gives them mindset and that's not what they want to see, that they're going to say, hold on. So if you're giving off the mindset and the algorithm, they're going to continue scrolling, right? That's not what they're looking for. Maybe they're just looking for that weight loss. I hate to focus on weight loss with body because that's not what it's about anymore. But that could be what somebody is in need of, right? Without saying that out loud. They're just looking for whoever can help them lose those extra 5 pounds, those extra 10 pounds, or just get back into a workout routine. But if you're providing stuff about mindset, maybe that's not going to serve them. So they're going to continue scrolling and you're not going to come back probably on their feed, right? Because that's not what they want. So they're going to spend less time consuming our content. So the first question is, am I serving them, like I said, what they want versus what they need? In order to serve them with what they need, you want to serve them with what they want first. Everything is still helpful, but if you don't give them the content to do that step one, they're going to move on to the next and you'll never be able to give them that total solution of everything that we provide, correct? Abby or Becky, did you want to step in or anything? I can just keep going. I like word vomit when I listen to podcasts, so I like verbatim take what they say.
You're doing awesome. I can relate to it all. So you can keep going and we can chime in at the end.
So like Holly Hillier, I saw a huge shift and I didn't realize it until I listened to this today. I was like, she stopped talking about certain things and just talked about, like, she just started sharing recipes. This is how I lost weight postpartum. Like, her stuff is continuously coming through my feed because I go to her content, I save her recipes, I share her recipes, I'm making her recipes, and I'm watching her because she's done this 3 times now postpartum, and she's lost like 60 pounds every freaking time. So I'm like, you're inspiring and I want to know like what you're doing. And she talks about enjoying like foods that people think we have to cut out and restrict. We just are finding a healthier option of those. And I saw and I didn't realize she was struggling until she talked about it today. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. She said at first she didn't want to provide recipes. She didn't want to cook. She didn't want to share that. But then when she started doing that, that's where she started seeing the shift, because maybe people aren't here for weight loss. Maybe they're here because they need to know what to feed their kids or find a sweet tooth substitute, right? So hold on, my phone just froze. So she didn't want to do that at first, but then she started sharing her recipes and started like getting more people following her and like resharing her stuff. So she made that shift for her ideal clients' wants and not what they need. And it's a business. So like we need to make sure that our content is for the ideal want, not need, right? We think that people need something, but they probably don't. They want something else. So we have to keep that in mind. So, social media is a funnel. So step 1, content, where you want them to be. What is your ideal client? So like my ideal client is probably that busy working mom, right? That doesn't have time to work out. I share how I fit in an 18-minute cardio workout before my kids get up in the morning. That is what I'm trying to put out there. Now, I feel like we kind of go all over the place with sharing different things on social media, and we have to keep it simple, right? Simple, simple, simple. So, I feel like Becky Hill had a good one the other day too, but I can't remember what it was. You're just providing like the recipes, like we're sharing recipes. Holly Hillier, her stuff, like I save a recipe every single week. I've made 2 recipes from her posts the last 2 weeks, and it must be because it's coming through my content. Um, so yeah, I don't know. This last part was confusing to me because it says like step 1 is create your content for your ideal client. Number 2 is connect and then get your email system. So I guess like you're collecting people's emails through connecting with them. And then your number 3 step would be your email market. So you're going to be sending out these emails to the people that you're um collecting the emails from. Simple and easy is content. Is that's the part 1. That's step 1 is just providing the content that people need or want, not need. See how hard that is to think of? It's a real big head shift. So we have to let go of our ego and don't go so far down the process of, hey, we have mindset classes. Hey, we have this. Hey, we have this. How about just like I talked to a mom last night. She literally joined the second I talked to her about it. She had said, I need something quick and easy that's 20 minutes. And I was like, we have 20-minute workouts. And she was like, tell me more. And I gave her like a little bit extra stuff. She literally was like, already joined. And I was like, that never happens. But it did because I was providing what she needed, not what she, am I saying that right? Needed, not what she wanted. See, it's confusing. And then sharing free content. So she like was talking about sharing free content. And I feel like sometimes we will share and provide like recipes and stuff, and we don't feel like it's providing content to people, but it is because people are sharing, people are showing up at your page. Like I know for a fact, like I share recipes all the time, and people are always asking me for my recipes because I'm sharing my food. And they're like, what is that? Like, what is in that recipe? I need it. And I'm always like, here you go. Or I'll be like, all right, I made this today. And I put it right up so people can have it. I used to be against that because I was like, I don't want to give out free content, but you're providing value, right? And people are going to gravitate towards you because you're providing something to them. So don't think that providing free content is not valuable because it is. But the stuff you thought was worth posting and what maybe you're wasting time on that. And that's how I feel. Like I'm like, because there's days where I'm like, oh, I didn't post. Like I got to figure out what to post. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like, I know what I want to post because this is what I would like to see from somebody else, right? Like today I was listening to this and I was like, oh, I have an idea. I want to share a reel or a post about I'm a busy working mom. Here's what I eat all day because I get comments all the time about how much I eat in a day and people are like, I can't believe you eat all that food. And I'm like, well, you need to eat all that food because that's what life's about. It's sustainable. And the other thing was, I can't remember what the other thing was. Something about like treats or something. Like I want to show again like how I'm making different recipes out of Shakeology, but it's like peanut butter cup or it's cookies or it's energy balls, things like that. Um, so what we need to do, take a step back and forget about what people want. It's about what they need, right? We can't tell somebody what they want when they are telling us what they need, right? And um ignore thinking what you think they need. So you need to that's where your connections come in, guys, right? We have to ask those questions and see where they are because we don't know like maybe they're like I talked to a girl today and she was like I was like, "Oh, did you try any of the sample workouts I sent you?" And she was like, "No, I just like have to go to the gym." I was like, "Oh, you can take these to the gym." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." I was like, "There you go. Try one tomorrow. Take it to the gym. Use it on your iPhone, use it on your tablet, whatever." Um Now, this is the other thing is there's some new people here, so we have to talk about posting, right? You have to post and you're like in order to show up in the algorithms, like you have to show up on social media. Like people aren't never going to find you if you're not being active in the algorithms. So you need to post at least once a day, she suggests, which I post on my stories, but you also need to make a post on your feed, right? Um because posting your content and your different content so it doesn't have to like today I posted a reel of me using Schitt's Creek voiceover with Harper and I got so much traction on that. Like I have like all these new Facebook and Facebook usually I don't have a lot of movement at all. I got like 4 or 5 new followers. people were adding me and I was like, this is crazy. Like I didn't even think I wasn't even, it was a joke. Like I wasn't, you know what I mean? I'm just talking about my kids teething. So it wasn't really providing any value there. But you have to think about providing different sets of content because people are wanting different things, needing different things. So if you aren't posting, there isn't going to be enough data for them to work with you, right? So you have to post. Um, so she also suggests if you have a reel like today, like my reel, I wouldn't say it went viral, but I have a lot of views on it. I had a lot of comments. I had a lot of people adding me. I need to dissect what I did in this reel to figure out why I have more like traction on it versus one of my health and wellness ones, right? And I know I was just being funny as a mom trying to relate to other people about my kids teething and she's being clingy. Um, but clearly it showed up on other people I've never connected with feed. So you need to dissect every single reel and every single post and see why it did well. So was it like the way your words were? Was it the what you were providing, like what you were talking about? Was it like your hashtags? Like you have to like dissect it. Um, And we have to make that simple mindset that the algorithm is not the enemy. And I've talked to one of my coaches, Olivia, about this because she is very much so about the algorithm. And she always asks me about it. I'm like, I'm not good with that. I don't even know what that is. Like, and it's not the enemy. The algorithm is our compass, and that is going to tell us what we should be doing, right? And it's going to telling us what our ideal client wants and the type of content that they want to consume. So you letting the algorithm guide you as a compass and making smarter decisions as we're all business women here, right? Because we all have a business. This is our health and wellness business. So we have to treat it like that. So again, going back to that step one is providing that content to that ideal client, then connecting it, making an email list, and then there you go. I know maybe that doesn't sound simple to some of you, but it pretty much is like basic, right? And you need to stop blaming Instagram and the algorithms on why you're not having any movement, right? It's this was like a real big thing that she said. She said no one should be blamed but yourself because you're not posting, you're not providing that content. So it's a little bit of a gut check. So stop blaming the algorithms in the mindset of I must not have read this right. If you stay in the mindset of being a victim and blame it on Instagram, you'll 100% remain victim to the algorithms because you're refusing to change and not listening to what the ideal client wants. In closing, she said, this was how I got stuck at 40,000 followers for 2 years, even though she was giving value. What my ideal clients were telling me they wanted and why I started to listen instead of saying what they needed. How I stopped blaming the algorithm and started looking at it from a different perspective. And the simple question I asked is that I changed how I looked at creating content. Um, and she did because before I feel like one day I was like, man, she only just posts recipes because she kind of does, and that's her thing, and that's what's helping her thrive. So we have to think about like if what we're doing is not moving us forward, we have to figure out why we're not moving forward, right? And it is a gut check. We have to kind of dissect ourselves and be like, well, I know what I'm doing is able to provide value, but am I providing that value to that ideal client? And you have to think about who is your ideal client because it could be different for every one of us, right? We're all in a different season of life. We're all doing different things. So Becky says, does everyone know who your ideal client is, right? In the chat, who your ideal client is. Mine was very generic, so make sure I'm adding to that. Make sure you are a little bit more specific than what I just said.
And that's what I think we can take a little bit of time. And even mine, I typed it and then I was like, oh dang, I just called myself out and like my stomach sunk. I was like, who is my ideal client? Even though I know. But breaking it down, and I think we can dissect each one of these, mine including, to get it, because that's another thing Holly talks about is the niche and then that micro niche of, okay, so who are you really talking to? And people used to say, like, talk to you before you signed up. Bellamy just tickled my feet. And you just saw it in real time. Child, somebody take over. I think I need to.
Well, I think we just get too generic and we're like, yeah, like mine, I wrote out busy working moms. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what, but who, like, who of those? And I look back at myself, like, I went through I have to get up at 5 a.m. to be able to work out before my kids are up because I have to be out the door by 8. So, like, and working out after work is just not a thing because that's when I spend time with my kids before they literally go to bed, which is like I get an hour and a half with them. So, like, you have to be specific. Like, I want to help moms fit in 20 to 30 minutes a day and they don't have to worry about like leaving their house and they can do it literally in their kitchen. Like I stretched after dinner in the kitchen while Kieran and Connor played in the other room. So like I just want to be able to help other moms be able to do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I saw another mom showing up literally, I don't know, she was like she works out in her bathroom while the kids are in the tub. Like this is real and it's raw. And I feel like that's what we need to show. And it doesn't have to be like working out alone downstairs. Like you're never like I know as for me as a mom, and I know some of you guys aren't moms, is that like you kind of just have to you make it work because if not, you're not gonna make it. It's not gonna work at all. So that's what like my niche is like somebody that says they don't have time. Because I always ask people, I'm like, tell me your entire day from when you wake up until you go to bed, because there's got to be 20 minutes in there. And tell me, and they're like, no, I don't really have 20 minutes. I was like, no, but like, what are you like? I want to know every single minute because there's got to be, because it's 20 minutes. Are you watching Netflix on the couch after you eat dinner, after the kids are in bed? Possibly. What about just like walking on a treadmill for 20 minutes and put a Netflix show on? That's something. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to like break it down even farther than just saying busy working moms, because that's too generic.
Thank you for taking the baton over. That child tickles my feet, and it is the bane of my existence, and he does it at the worst times, like when I'm trying to talk or when I'm waking up in the morning before saying good morning. He just tickles my feet. It is horrible. But with that, yes, all of these, and I actually read through, and they all look, I mean, really niched down overall. I think we could dive into it a little bit more, but I don't think we have to, and I think that's great. And so just really prioritizing and again going through the audit of your Instagram now that you've identified this niche, this target individual. Are your posts actually talking to them? And just while I have the space, I just want to say how proud I am of all of you that I keep following, because I've seen so many Staples stories and being pinned to the top of the page since last week, and that is fantastic. So, yes, keep at it.
One thing, this is off topic. Morgan, I'm not calling you out. I want to share so that other people can help you as well. So I talked to Morgan. She's been a partner for a week now, and she said she was getting discouraged. And the funny thing is, I text Abby and Becky and Carla literally 2 days ago and said, I'm very discouraged because I am not where I want to be this month, because it's not going to be perfect every single month. And we all struggle because I mean, that's a business, right? If it wasn't hard, everybody would be doing this. So don't get discouraged if you haven't helped anyone yet, because that's okay. Like, it's only the 20th of the month. We got to get you started. Like I suggested, a Facebook group is great. That's what Megan's starting with, is a Facebook group, because she wants to help people even if they don't have body. And I said, that's totally great. That's fine. Because now if you guys saw, we are now just going to be selling programs eventually. So people don't have to have a body membership, which I don't know why we're going backwards. So like that's another idea, is like, if you don't run it through the body group, you can run it on Facebook, because some people don't even utilize the bod groups. But you have to have, like, you haven't done your coming out posts, so you got to do that. That's on your to-do list. And then you just have to create a group, because people probably don't have like, I bet you could get people to join. They just don't know what you're doing yet, right? So don't get discouraged. And I know, like, we've all been there. I'm currently living in that state right now. There's months where I just struggle and it's hard. But the thing is, like, you have a warm market to start with. I've blown through that warm market like 8 years ago. So like, I'm finding and connecting with new women. But that's what this is about, is like finding your ideal client. And that's how you find, I don't know, new connections, new friends. So don't be discouraged, because you're doing good.
And do exactly what you did and reach out to Crean, reach out to all of us, because every single person on this call, including me, have those moments, and it can get really dark where you spiral and you're like, I am quitting, this is not working. And I think I had that moment with Abby was it last month or this month? I don't know, time's running together, but either way, I had that moment with Abby for a split second. I was not fully serious with it, but my brain went there for a second. And I had to tell her, like, hey, my brain went there. And I just want you to know where I'm at. And we're going to pull out of this together. And we're going to keep going with it. And yeah, it's hard sometimes. The consistency is truly key. And it does take time. And some months are better than others. And then, really, with all of us, the key, I think, is really just presenting yourself, because that's how you have to present in your posts too, is presenting with the confidence of somebody who is, and we say these like 10-star, whatever it is, your goals, a confidence of someone who is making millions of dollars from this business, because that's what it's going to take to get other people to believe you that you have something awesome, is your energy that you know you have something awesome, which you do. You've been doing the programs for such a time, they've changed your life. We heard that story last week, and everybody has that. So, talking to everyone on this call, we all just have to come in with the confidence, which again, I think is part of where rotating leaders and facilitators of this call, of everybody taking a turn of facilitating this call as well, to really get comfortable talking to people about different tools, learning together. Like Green said, it wasn't her strong suit with social media, which is why she chose that topic. So just going in and being determined to learn. And yeah, I always just fake it. I mean, Steven's brother came over the house today and he was like, so Becky, you're doing body full-time business now? And I was like, well, full-time private practice and body is like on the side helping that. But I realized from how I present on social media, which is how he knows me, it 100% looks like I am just rocking body 100% of the time. And that's totally great. But it was my perception of like, oh, that's just how I look on social media, is that I'm just crushing this business, doing it every day to the fullest, which is what I'm doing. But we'll get there eventually.
And I'm looking at these comments in our chat, and it's nice that Haley just commented, like, knowing that she's not alone in this, because even if it looks like, just like Becky said, make it till you break it, like, you never know where we're at. Like yesterday, I was like, man, I don't even know if I like to hit Success Club like every single month. Like, I have had it for I'm working on 3 years. So for me, like, that is a staple in my business, and I want it by the 10th of every month, because that means I have to work really hard, and it's the 20th and I'm not there yet. I'm like a point away. But you're not alone. Like, you're not ever going to be alone. Like, that's why I was like, man, I don't want to reach out to them today. And then I was like, I'm going to reach out to them because they're my support system. And heck yeah, I'm going to ask them like, hey, I'm not asking for validation. I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm not where I'm at right now. And this is me keeping myself accountable that I need to work a little bit harder. So, and if you guys ever need help, we have lots of trainings available in the back office. We're great resources. But the biggest thing is like you have to have something to invite to, and people need to know what you're doing. So Morgan, I've been tagging you every morning when I work out because we have like a workout tag. So you can start sharing those on your Instagram story because people are gonna be like, whoa, who are these people? What are they doing? And people get FOMO because everybody is nosy and wants to know what everyone else is doing in their lives. That's what social media is basically, right? But yeah, you guys are never alone. So Haley, thanks for sharing that too.
And I think everything like shared through Holly is great, but if you catch yourself overthinking and that you're not taking any action, that's no good either. So, like, I know I'm an overthinker and I want it to be perfect. I was texting Becky, like, what about this one word in my bio? I don't like the one word. Like, that's literally no one cares about the one word, but I care. So, like, if you're an overthinker like me and you're like, I just can't get it right. I don't know my ideal client and I'm just going to wait till I know. Just do something because I struggle in my head every day. I'm like, just do it. Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect because action and consistency is going to be better than overthinking and waiting till it's perfect. But honestly, we have the 28-day action group through Body, and they're going to have you posting, if you follow along what they say, way different than what anything Corinne just talked about from Holly's podcast. So it's really, there's not a right or wrong. There's just a do something that feels right. Yes, you have to have something to invite to. Yes, you need to be showing up and talking about it, letting people know they can join you, and providing values that bonus. If you can figure out the algorithm, awesome. But like just showing up, especially if you're just starting, is huge. And honestly, to this day, if you're going to share something about your journey, share a story that like hit someone's heart, like something about your transformation, something about like, I don't know. Like I have moments where I'm just like, wow, I could have never done this before I started doing Body because I had no energy or I had no strength. Or if you get your first paycheck or a paycheck and it's like, wow, I don't have to like be that nervous about going to the grocery store and buying some treats, or like whatever your story is, grab that one little bit of it and post it. Because if you're saying that's in the chat, you shared all who your ideal clients are. Connect to that. That's maybe the old you or the current you that's working on themselves. Like really just think of little moments in your life that this has changed it and share that. That's going to make a bigger impact than anything where you're like, is the algorithm going to like this? So that's my biggest takeaway. But I love Holly's podcast. So if you are into that and you're like, I want to do this thing, listen to all hers. Like, she's awesome and it clearly works. But don't overthink it. Also, in regards to like your posting and stuff, make sure your bios are good. I know we talked about that last week. Last week? Yeah. So your bios pull people in the first second. So it should relate to your ideal client, which should relate back to your posts. So take a look at that as well. Sorry, I don't want to cough in your ears. But yeah, go ahead, Green.
I was just gonna say, who wants to run the next call that's in 2 weeks? Any volunteers? Don't all jump at once, guys. Celia, looked like you were going to unmute yourself. I don't know.
Look at the calendar, okay?
No pressure, guys. But
No, we'll figure
really,
it out.
Even if it's like like if you want to do like a co-partnership call and do it together or something, just reach out to us and let us know. If not, we will have plenty to talk about and plenty of topics. It's really, you guys just have to remember you're all leaders. You're all doing amazing, even if you feel like you're just starting or your business isn't growing. Like, we all have those struggles. And I can even relate to all of that this month as well. And it's really easy to get down on yourself. But the only way that you're going to get out of it is to take consistent action. Like, I could sit here and say, oh, well, I was busy. I was moving and this and that. And like, excuse, excuse, excuse. But instead, I decide to wake up and do as much as I can that I know are going to be like those income producing activities. And then I leave it. Like, to be honest, I've gotten about 1/3 of what I want to get done every day for a whole week. And I get down on myself, but then I'm like, but I'm still doing something. So you're not alone. Life is always going to throw you some curveballs, and you just got to show up the best you can and be proud of it. It is business for a reason, because it is tough.
and the final thought I have is something super monumental that I had heard when I first started this body business was about this specific team call. That this is your one business meeting out of this entire job. And it's your business. You can do whatever you want. But really, if you're really treating this as a business rather than a hobby or just something you do on the side or an activity, show up to the one business meeting because you would never skip any other business meeting. Now, all of you are here and you're doing that. There's a lot more people on our teams collectively that aren't here, and that's okay, but that's a really big just already knowing the collective that's here and the mindset you're already putting in and really acknowledging how important it is that you showed up, you're here, you're doing it, and like that, just you should be really proud of yourself for that. And that's the first step. So that's it. I always just like still think of it to this day that really prioritizing this meeting is important, and you guys are doing that, so great job.
And I try to tell, I know like I have a few coaches that they don't make excuses, but like the excuses that they give me, I'm like, I mean, I'm in the same exact boat and I'm making it work. And like, yes, some nights I'm by myself and I don't have my partner to help me with the kids, but I either put an AirPod in and I'm just like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to talk tonight. I'm gonna just listen. So like tonight I was like, okay, hold on, I gotta see if Connor has a game, because if he does, then that might be a little tricky for me to be able to talk. But I make sure that this is a priority. And it used to stress me out when I was by myself postpartum with Harper to be on these calls because it was a lot. And I was like, I have to do bedtime for 2 kids solo. How am I supposed to be joining this meeting? And then I was like, I just shifted my mindset and I was like, okay, well, I don't have to show my face. I don't have to do it on my laptop sitting at the kitchen table. I can literally be in Kieran's bed with an AirPod in just listening. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. I have fallen asleep on 1 or 2 calls. One time, I literally woke up and I was like, oh, the call's over. Holy crap, I fell asleep. But it was like at the tail end, guys. I just want to tell you that. That's when we were doing like hours. So I was a little tired. But I'm just saying, I still was showing up and I was just putting my AirPod in. If I have to do bath time, I put an AirPod in. Like, I'm making that work because this is something that's important to me. And what we chat about every week, it's different. And it might be something that I need to be hearing and I need to push. So just keep that in mind, that everybody has excuses, but like this is like we've shortened these calls to be 30 minutes. So we're trying to take a couple excuses away from you by saying it's too long or whatever. So I just want to be honest about me falling asleep because it happened twice. Sorry. It's not that you guys were boring. I just was exhausted.
I hope it feels better to get that off your chest. You've been holding that in for quite a while.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on, and always reach out if you need anything, have any questions, any feelings, thoughts, all that good stuff. And we'll talk soon. Bye.